I will recite a poem appropriate for the play, and then we'll start. This little piggy went to market, and this little piggy stayed home, and this little piggy had roast beef, and this little piggy had none, and this little piggy went wee, 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 wee.
Sunshine resting underneath the apple tree. Oh, Juliana, oh, Juliana, oh, Juliana, oh, Juliana, oh, Juliana, oh, Juliana, Master! Juliana, oh, Juliana, again! Oh, Juliana.
I think in one sense I'm very angry at the schools.
Well,
they go, oh, it's too hard to get the buses, it's too difficult to...
Well, we did have a problem with Moliere because our scheduling came in right at the semester break. And this did account for some of it.
Right.
Also, the bus problem, because it was a 2.5-hour show, brought them out at 3:30, which is your peak time for your buses. This was a problem. However, if we had realized it, we could have changed it.
Yeah.
Well, now, have we done anything about changing this one?
I have no idea. Mel says that he does have the buses. If the schools give a bus, they don't want to come. Or I guess, I don't know.
It's very difficult to get them thinking about going to the theater.
This isn't just because it's the same schools that you're approaching.
No.
Well, have you tried a different approach?
It's awfully close on the other play.
I do not know the answer. I'm having a board meeting in here.
Well, what else can we do then to get people? Just to get on the phone and call them.
The phone is the thing. And Judy suggests we, try and do some papering that night with people, which I think we should do to some degree.
Papering?
Paper.
What does that mean?
It means we give some free tickets away.
Oh, they're just getting their
People are incredible. They will not come to something they haven't heard of.
Right. And they've never heard Caruso.
Well,
That's
no,
right.
but at the same time, it is anytime you say, anybody that knows this theater, and you say there's a cast of 90 with a boys' choir and a full orchestra.
Some of you ought to go, Some of you should not do it. Whenever you sing to me because you've invited me to your house for a play, right? Tell me. Help me to understand. How many times?
I told John I thought I could get a kind of preliminary draft of the script by a week from today, but it will be that. It will be a preliminary draft.
Well, just, that's all right.
And after that, it's kind of up to John, I guess, when he wants to finalize things.
Because you see, here for the first time we have two different directors, neither of which is me, working on shows that we can work them sort of both at the same time for a change.
The music swells tumultuously. He suddenly turns her about and kisses her on the lips. When he releases her, Laura sinks on the sofa with a bright, dazed look. Which is hilarious too, right? But then in the image, when we see it and we see the character of how she is, it becomes, you know, a whole another thing.
Right.
It's like this play that I'm doing right now, Swan Song, over at Lynn's Theater. It's about an old actor who, he's just leaving the theater that he worked for 45 years, and he's out on the stage all by himself. And he realizes when he's out there that one time, when he was really talented when he was young, you know, and had, you know, the whole spirit of his everything, you know. I mean, you know what I mean? And he met this girl who fell in love with him, he says, because he was an actor. It's like here, too, like he falls in love with her at this moment because of her obvious fragility or that spiritual quality or whatever that is in her because of her afflictions or whatever, you know. It's that, the dream of the spiritual world that these people go into. Anyway, this girl that he meets, this actor, she says to him, "I love you, but give up the stage." And when he's 65, he realizes that it was then that he started to hate the theater and everything because she would not stay with him or be with him, but she only loved that illusion of him. And this is what Laura realizes too, and it's like that horn breaking, that realization that she is weird or something, you know, which she, or in really deep though, you know, because for a moment all of her dreams came true. Say it.
Lemonade, lemonade, made in the shade and stirred with a spade. Good enough for any old maid.
No, Mrs. Wingfield, I never heard that one.
Why, Laura, you look so serious.
We were having a serious conversation.
Good, now you're better acquainted.
Yes.
You modern young people are so more serious-minded than my generation. I was so gay as a girl.
You haven't changed, Mrs. Wingfield.
Tonight, I'm rejuvenated. The gaiety of the occasion, Mr. O'Connor.
She tosses her head with a peal of laughter and spills lemonade all over her dress.
I'm baptizing myself.
Here, let me...
There now. I discovered we had some maraschino cherries. I dumped them in, juice and all.
Well, you shouldn't have gone to that trouble, Mrs. Wingfield.
Trouble? Trouble? Why, it was loads of fun. Didn't you hear me cutting up in the kitchen? I bet your ears were burning. I told Tom how outdone with him I was for keeping you to himself so long a time. He should have brought you over much, much sooner. Well, now that you've found your way, I want you to be a very frequent caller. Not just occasional, but all the time. Oh, we're going to have lots of gay times together. I see them coming. Just breathe that air, so fresh and the moon so pretty. I'll skip back out. I know where my place is when young folks are having a serious conversation.
Oh, don't go out, Mrs. Wingfield. The fact of the matter is I've got to be going now.
Going now? You're joking. Why, it's only the shank of the evening, Mr. O'Connor.
Well, you know how it is.
You mean you're a young working man and have to keep your working man's hours? Well, we'll let you off early tonight, but only on the condition that next time you stay later. What's the best night for you? Isn't Saturday night the best night for you working men?
That's the energy, like, you know, like not right here, but when you're up in here and the smile and the gaiety, you know, and the inner kind of laughter. That's the way she is throughout this, and she's even a little bit more, once in a while, a little bit more understanding in her suggestive, you know, and that she knows what's going on between young boys and young girls, and I don't want to come between that. I'm going out in the kitchen, even though I know I'm gay and young, and I could be here too if you only would, you know, if I wasn't the mother, right? I have a couple of time clocks to punch, Mrs. Wingfield. I have a couple of time clocks to punch, Mrs. Wingfield. One at morning and another one at night.
My, but you are ambitious. You work at night, too?
No, ma'am, not work, but, Betty. He crosses deliberately to pick up his hat. The band at the Paradise Dance Hall goes into a tender waltz.
Betty? Betty? Who's Betty?
Yet, he is there is an ominous cracking sound in the sky. Isn't it incredible, play? Jim, oh, it's just a girl. The girl I go steady with. He smiles charmingly. And the legend is the sky falls.
Oh. Is it a serious romance, Mr. O'Connor?
We're going to be married the second Sunday in June.
Oh, how nice. Tom didn't mention that you were engaged to be married.
Well, the cat's not out of the bag at the warehouse yet, Mrs. Wingfield. You know how they are. They call you Romeo and stuff like that. He stops at the oval mirror to put on his hat. He carefully shapes the brim and the crown to give it a discreetly dashing effect. It's been a wonderful evening, Mrs. Wingfield. I guess this is what they mean by Southern hospitality.
It really wasn't anything at all.
I hope it doesn't seem like I'm rushing off, but I promised Betty I'd pick her up at the Wabash Depot. And by the time I get my jalopy down there, a train will be in. Some women are pretty upset if you keep them waiting.
Yes, I know. The tyranny of women. Goodbye, Mr. O'Connor. I wish you luck and happiness and success. All three of them. And so does Laura. Don't you, Laura?
Yes.
Goodbye, Laura. I'm certainly going to treasure that souvenir. And don't you forget the good advice I gave you. So long, Shakespeare. Thanks again, ladies. Good night. And he ducks jauntily out. Still bravely grimacing, Amanda closes the door on the gentleman caller. Then she turns back to the room with a puzzled expression. She and Laura don't dare to face each other. Laura crouches beside the Victrola to wind it. Jim is from the north, you know, right? He's a Yankee. It's the Civil War, right? Here we go.
Things have a way of turning out so badly. I don't believe that I would play the Victrola. Well, well, well. Our gentleman caller was engaged to be married.
This is a whole nother rhythm now. Things have a way of turning out so badly. You know, I mean, she reaches heights, this woman reaches heights of drama. I mean, she's playing out a drama, you know, that she has planned out, and which is her great dignity and that thing that makes her such a magnificent creation, is that she, even though she created this whole world, she does it. She goes up and plays her role out to the hilt. She comes in and she says, deception, deception, deception. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Okay. Not that you have to do it, but I just want to...
Things have a way of turning out so badly. I don't believe that I would play the Victrola.
Right. I just want to, just while this is on my mind, seeing as how if we were working on it, I wouldn't tell it to you like this, right? Mm-hmm. You know? Things have a way of turning out so badly. That's right. Then she looks over there and with a dart, like a dart, she says, I don't think I'll play the Victrola, Laura. Well, well, well. Right? She goes back into her thing, but she switches just like that. Boom, right? I don't think I'll play that Victrola, Laura. Well, well, well. Our gentleman caller was engaged to be married. Tom,